someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I back fast, I'll believe sooner than this. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I back fast.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TechCon. I really appreciate you for being here live and direct. It is TechCon Live, so that means that it's Saturday, 7 p.m. Central European Time. And that means that we are going to geek about all kinds of video and all kinds of other stuff. And I, of course, want to say hello to a lot of people that are live at the moment, like every Saturday. Well, apart from last week, but we're going to touch upon that very, very briefly in just a bit. What happened and why. So please feel free to ask questions. Very important, even though it's not a Q&A session. Of course, questions are always more than welcome. Comments are more than welcome. Your vision is more than welcome. So please go ahead and do that. Of course, like always, MT was in the house very, very early. Really appreciate it that you were already there checking in. And it seems that MT was also listening to the music and really appreciate it that. I see that DJ Ware is in the DJ Ware is also in the house. He was just giving a smiley. So that means that you are having a good time, and that is also really appreciated and really cool. I see Shane and Hannah Holland. They are saying hi, or he or she is saying hi. Welcome, everybody, nevertheless. And like I said, indeed, if there are any questions, go ahead and just let me know. Leandro is also in the house. Hello, people, he says. We appreciate it, that as well. Veal, all the way from Finland. Welcome. Appreciate it. And Jason from Canada. He is also in the house. So indeed, a full house. So that also means... Oh, wait. Whoa, almost forgot that we also have Go Web Technologies. Namaste. Appreciate you for taking the time and effort. Let me just very quickly check if I've forgotten to add Facebook to the social commenting system. No, I did not. So, okay. So I am streaming live towards YouTube and Facebook. If you're on Facebook, please know that the majority of the community is over on YouTube. So I do see you, but it will be a little bit less of a community feel to you there. TechCon started out on Facebook only, then went to YouTube, but I still have one toe in the Facebook side of the world. Anyway, welcome, guys. Hey, so in the last week, I unfortunately could not make it. It was Carnival here in the Netherlands and, well, actually Europe, and that meant that people were all dressed up, a lot of fun, a lot of drinking, but it was really, really cool. And I am not really a party animal, to be honest, but I do, of course, like to perform video productions, and that's exactly what I did back the last week. I started out on Friday evening. A friend of mine, colleague at the local radio TV station, asked me, "Hey, Petra, I am ill. I'm not feeling well. Are you able to perform a production activity?" And of course I said yes, because I love to do that. But it also meant that I had one show on Friday, 2 hours. On Saturday, also not even 2 hours, it was actually 6 hours. One show was 4 hours, where I have to admit that I didn't do everything myself, but I started it up, and then I just went away. Somebody else could just do it because everything was automated. And then in the afternoon, I had a very big production with 3 live views even. And of course, we're going to talk about how that worked next week during the Q&A session. I don't have a lot of videos, to be honest, of last week, but of course, I can tell you what we did and how we did it so that you guys can have inspiration. Sunday was 2 church services, one in the normal church service that I've done the last 3 years, believe it or not. And the other one was in dialect. So it's quite awkward, but it is related to carnival, and then people tend to talk in dialect here. That was a Sunday, and then Monday was again a big thing, a big happening. Also 1.5 hours, 2 hours. So basically 4 days in a row, 6 shows, all going to TV. Most of them also going to YouTube and to Facebook. Quite a lot of work, but really, really cool nevertheless. But that was also the reason why I could not make it last week. I hope that that's okay with you. However, it did make me think about, do I think that this is a good way of moving forward? And I honestly, I have to tell you that I'm like, no, this is not a good way forward. I actually want to bring you new content every single week. And of course, you do know that in the summer months, I will have about a month off, right? In mid-July until mid-August, in that area. That's the intent at the moment. It might change a little bit depending on the vacation plans, but I will be out for a few weeks. But I don't want to leave you with nothing. So I want to provide you some nice content. And I promised you earlier this year that I would bring you some, short form videos. And I think that this is a really good, effective way to bring you short form videos. So moving forward and starting next week, because this week I want to relax a little bit, but starting next week I will be creating some nice short videos. One of them is about the content of today, to be honest, and I believe that I will not have to wait until the summer, but at the end of March before it will be streamed, broadcasted, at least available for you, published for you very, very soon. Anyway, today we're going to talk about microphones, and let me check the comments very quickly before I start with that comment, and then let's move on. Eric says, I can imagine that there are more than a few live gigs through Carnival. Yeah, it is a fantastic moment in time. It's really beautiful. People are, it's very colorful, and for that reason, I also really, really like it. Hello from Western New York. I love that. You're from Rochester, right? So cool. Western New York, that is. Yeah. By the way, I will most likely be in New York very, very soon. Not the coming month, but very soon afterwards. Also, welcome to Hans, all the way from Sweden. Welcome, welcome. MT says a question. Oh, whoa, we have to have questions. What do you think about the new Blackmagic design gear? Okay, yeah, that's definitely off topic. Long story short, but we can discuss a little bit longer next week during the Q&A session. I love the system itself. I think it's really great. If I would start from scratch, so if I would start with a new ATEM, or I have a 5 to 8 years old ATEM product, I would in a heartbeat go for that one, but only the ISO one. So the 4,000 euro one. Reasoning behind that is really simple. It has everything in one nice, concise product, and I do like that internal storage. I do like that you can stream from it, and I do like that you have a very nice surface that you can actually work with. But that's the short version. There will be a longer version next week. Good question, though. Leandro says, don't feel bad about the content while you have to work and keep getting experience out of the field. Thank you so much, Leandro. I appreciate that. And indeed, this is where you really, learn how to take things into account and to work with it, right? So thank you so much for your for your understanding. All right, so today we're going to do something totally different. I thought it would be cool to just give you a little bit of a timeline about a bit of a history lesson, so to speak, from my end. I have been looking for microphones for 2 years straight, and I want to bring you along with the journey to give you a bit of an insight on what was the thought process, and of course what did I come up with eventually. So it's not a lesson, so to speak. I just said it, but it's not a lesson. It's more to give you an insight in my brain activities and the things that I've learned, the things that I'm still learning as we speak. But I think that it's good to understand where I'm coming from, and before I also show you the microphone that I actually ended up with, and. But still, my plans are about that as well, because it's not done yet. All right, so microphones. Why microphones? So let's go ahead and go one step back. And hey, Petra, what kind of gigs do you do throughout the year? That's a good question, right? So of course I do Techano the full year round, maybe 1 or 2 months a year that I cannot make it, especially this year. Again, the summer is going to be 1 month off, and in December also 1 month off. Really aim towards one thing, and getting to a relaxed location. It's very important to take some time off occasionally. So that's why I'm doing it. But apart from Taekwondo, I think that if you really look into it and you exclude the church service, because that's of course every week, as well, which is 52 weeks a year, and maybe even a few times more in a week sometimes. But let's just ignore that to make it easier on ourselves. Then I would state about 18 to 20 gigs a year that I'm really out and about, going to on location work and working, to make some really cool shows. Of those 18 to 20, I believe that about 8 are together with a local TV station here in Venner, where I live, and also in Pollingen, what is a different city here or village nearby. And those 8 together form, let's say, the backbone. But in that case, those 8, I actually do not really need a microphone, because you're already working together with a local TV and radio station. And I can tell you one thing, and that is that audio should not be a big problem for them, right? Video maybe, but audio should be very, very straightforward for them. And that's also 9 out of 10 times the case. But that still leaves us with about 10 gigs a year that I actually do not have that combination of those two local radio TV stations. I actually do work with other people as well, or I have to do everything by myself. That's typically what I do in those 10 times. During those 10 times, I definitely 9 out of 10 times I need to do something with audio. And until now, I actually did it quite easily with a Rodecaster Pro and just some wired microphones. And occasionally, I lended some wireless microphones. And that's where the cookie crumbles, is that first and foremost, I do want to have a wireless microphone due to the fact that it becomes easier to install, between brackets, in the sense that you don't have to bring along a lot of cables for the whole length to the stage. And so that's one thing, so less to carry, but also faster turnarounds, that you're faster available for the audience, right? So that's the reason why I actually wanted to have a wireless microphone set. And I'm actually looking to the first one that I actually tried out. I didn't buy it myself, but so with the risk of of sounding that I'm not really appreciating that I could lend it. I did appreciate it very, very much that I could lend it. However, in all fairness, the quality was not up to par what I would expect. So this is the one that I actually have hands-on experience with. It's an Vonix WM62 wireless system with two handhelds. And it is about 160 euros, which is roughly translates to the 160 US dollars as well. That's including taxes in this case, to be honest. But here it comes. So this is one. But I also tried out a Line 6 wireless system, and both of them actually had the same issue. And that was that there was this a pink noise in the back, as it was really awkward and really not nice. And from the Line 6 specifically, I actually also had a lot of dropouts. Now, of course, at that particular time, I could not do anything about it due to the fact that it was not even mine. I just lended it. However, it was really a big issue, right? Because you want to not have to worry about the audio. You really want to work on your video production, because that's the reason why you're there. So that was a bit of an annoyance. And so I also then noticed actually that, and I'm showing you again, that the 159 euros or dollars, and the other one was also roughly around that $200 euro mark, is that those don't sound great. They really don't sound great. So I did do some investigation, and it turns out that there's a sweet spot. After 600 euros, it becomes really great. So after $600, 600 euros, it becomes more quality rich. So I knew that the budget needed to go up a little bit. So that was the first thing. Next is, of course, that I wanted to know what I wanted to do. What do I need? How much do I need? Do I want to have a handheld? Do I want to have a lavalier? Do I want to have a headset? So those are questions that I also needed to understand. And this is again going back to the well, let's say those 10 gigs that we were talking about. What kind of gigs were that? And typically what I saw was that from those 10, about 2 or 3, I could get away with just one microphone. That's enough. 3 gigs a year. This is enough. However, if you want to add to that, then I actually needed at least 3 of them, at the very least, maybe even 4. So I knew that A, I need 4 channels. B, I know that it has to be more than 600 euros. And then there was some other parts, like, for example, what kind of transmission do I want? And what brand, etc. And before I go in there, let's check if there are some comments or remarks or super chats even. Eric says 2 years. That's a lot of research and shopping around. That's definitely the case. And to be honest, this was a very difficult one for me because I have high standards for myself. However, the budget is low, so it's give and take. And how much do I give, or how much do I take? That's big problem. DJ Ware says, indeed, wonder how large a collection of microphones Petra has now. More than you think, but we're gonna get there. More than you think, wired. More than you think. And he says, indeed, but you have to have your thought when it comes to invest in expensive gear. Yes. DJ Ware says, pulls a sheet over my mic shelf and walks away slowly. You don't have to do that. That's no word. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not needed. Jason, thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. What do you think about the new Rode NT1 32-bit USB? I don't know that one by heart, but I do know that the NT series by Rode are extremely good. I have on my wish list. What was it again? The NT5, I believe. It's but the NT5 has done more a XLR based shotgun mic. That's on my short list. It's not. I didn't buy it yet. I know when you buy, you do invest in a system, and you don't want to choose without considering the system. Indeed, that is 100% correct. MT says, right, and it always depends on the situations you are dealing with. Not every gig is the same and has the same needs. 100% in agreement with those statements. And that's also the problem, right? I mean, if I would have a location and I knew for front that it's always this, then of course it's very easy to do it. So I need to pick and choose. I need to invest in the system, and I want to figure out, and I want to bring you along with that journey, right? So I just mentioned to you that I don't really like those cheaper systems because they were not great, having some signal losses, having this ping noise in the back is not a good thing. Not a good thing. So then the next phase comes. So I do have wired microphones, like you just mentioned. I actually am I would say more closely related to Shure than any other brand. I do have a very nice old Shure microphone, the really old looking 1960s set. I love that look. I love that sound. Really, really nice. I've got an SM7B for my radio work. I do occasionally on and off do some radio work, and then the SM7B makes 100% total sense. The only thing is that with video, I know that not everybody agrees with me on this one. I'd rather in video don't have that right in my face. I can do that with this one right here. I do have this one right here, but I don't really like it. I mean, I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. You can hear me correctly, and that's it. That's good enough. I do now see that I'm a little bit low in my volume, so I will be fixing that quite fastly now. There you go. All right. Not so much, but enough to notice it. All right, so as Shure, I also have Rode pod mics because after the Rode Podcaster. So yes, I do have quite some wired systems, but not wireless. And this is something new for me, but I wanted to make it right, and I want to make it perfect. Now, of course, it makes 100% sense if you like Shure, you like the characteristics, etc., that you also are using that in your productions, in your video productions. So that was actually the first one that I actually looked at. That was the Shure. And it was actually quite easy to do that because at the church, they actually used this one, the QLXD, as in D as in digital. That was one of the other things that I actually knew from the get-go, is that I wanted to have something that was digital. Not that I'm very negative about analog, but for digital, I know that there are some possibilities that are really interesting, especially for me. Like, for example, connecting it with Companion, having an iOS app so that you can use it from a distance. So from that perspective, the digital was really something that I was looking at. Now, the QLD was, sorry to say, above budget. Not gonna happen. I simply do not have the money to do this. So that was very easy. However, I did know, because of the church service, what it was like, what it can do. So I actually first went to this system right here, which was a way cheaper system. It was the GLXD system. And as it states on this website in Dutch, it states here that it's that the product is cancelled, which of course I did not know back then because this was about 2 years ago. Now, what I really loved about this product was that you could charge your microphone from the system itself. There was this nice charging port right here, and of course you can just hook the microphone part right in, and you could charge your mic, and that was really, really good. The only issue that I had with that, apart from that it's now out of production, is that it was also using a GSM band. If one thing that I know, because I do video productions, is that I did in the past use wireless comms systems, not video comms, but just something else like an intercom system, and it worked like a charm during the repetitions and that kind of stuff. That was the dry runs, etc. However, during the live, all hell broke loose. Our communication went down. Why? Because everybody that was getting inside of that theater, they were all going to their telephone. They were all going wireless, and before you knew it, there was nothing that I could do in that band. So definitely, and that's also one of the reasons why the others are also a little bit cheaper. Definitely do not buy anything in the GSM band or the LTE band, for so to speak. That is not smart, and you definitely don't want to do that. So, still being in the Shure environment, I finally got my system ready, and that was the SLXD. That was the one that I liked a lot. That was the best of the best. That was fantastic. And this is not sarcastic. This is a very nice product. It was really nicely digital. You can see how much time you have on your microphone. You can see the strength. You can hook up an application to figure out what band is free, so that you can put that frequency in there without too much hinder. And it just was a really nice product. And also the body packs was really great. Everything was fantastic. So I bought it. I thought. I bought it a year ago. I still didn't have it. So what happened was I bought it, and when I was buying it, the website stated, yeah, it will be available in 3 weeks. Totally fine with me. I have all the time in the world. During COVID, we all know that something takes longer than normal. So if it's 2 months, it's also fine. 3 months, no worries. That's also fine. But after 9 months, I was like, that's not good. So I decided to not go with that one because it doesn't make sense to wait 9 months for one test unit with the idea to buy more than one, because I now know that I need more than one channel, because the first 2 or 3 are good for one. But if I want to have all 10 of them, or at least 9 of them, then I need at the very least 3. 4 is overkill for me, but 3 at the very least. So, well, that was a bummer. That was in October of last year. And maybe you now recall me saying in September, oh, by the way, we're going to do something really cool with the audio products, because we were really gonna make an audio rack, and everything will be so amazingly cool. That didn't work out. Didn't work out. And of course, you can imagine that I was very disappointed. And I was like, yeah, well, let it go. Let's just wait for it for a bit. And so it died a little bit off as of October, and it regained interest about a month ago, I believe. But before I go in there, I will check the chats. Looking at your chats. Volume level, okie dokie. Yeah, indeed. SM7B requires a preamp for sound boost for optimal quality. Leandro, yes, that is correct. However, I have no problems with it. So the Rodecaster does it perfectly. My GLX, my Go XLR does it perfectly. So I did not really have any issues with that. So I didn't really have that need for a preamp, but I know that that's a fact. And the SM7B is really flat as well. So if you look at dynamics, it's a little bit of a flatter line. Eric says that the QLXD and Actions are premium priced, Shure units, definitely. Yeah, so they are very expensive, but of course they're also flagships, right? So if you have the money and you really want to have state of the art quality, then yeah, please go ahead for it, get those. However, my budget does not reach that far, even though I do have some budget, of course, but it's way too much, way too much. MT says for panel situations we use cheap 45 and sorry, let me some trouble here. And flat microphones, all wired to an XR18. The total amount of those mics are 30. We used in the two buildings. Yeah. In the two buildings. Yep. Graham says, at work we use the GLX-D 4 mics just about hold together as long as you won't use a wireless controlled mixer. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So be careful with that band. So I would definitely recommend not to go with that band. If you don't have the money, then you have to, but please be aware of that. You really will be hurt. MT says, for our studio, we use 8 mounted Sennheiser wireless and 6 wireless channels for our main event area. Cool. We're going to talk about Sennheiser in just a bit. Neil says, and it's not entirely legal to send into the LTE bands. Maybe that's a US thing. I think it is legal, but of course, legal with a certain amount of strength, right? So it's not only the frequency, but it's also your strength that is important there. 9 months waiting for shipping is like the black magic for me. Yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Yeah. Luckily, I did purchase the 2 of me. Otherwise, I would go absolutely nuts. So, yes. So, we just talked a little bit about the Shure area, right? So, SLXD, GLXD, QLXD. Actually, I did very briefly think about going for the QLXD because I found one that was available immediately. It's like, yeah, the second one was not available immediately. And then it was again waiting for at least a month. It's like, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, long story short, no Shure. However, I did finally find something that I really liked, and that was the Sennheiser range. And the Sennheiser actually has 2 specific ranges that I'm interested in, and that was, let me go to my screen, maybe even go to this screen. Boom, there you go. Is that we have the EWD or the EWDX. Both of them are for Evolution wireless digital systems. So again, I did already know I wanted to go digital, otherwise I was not interested. So it was between these two, the DX and the D. And looking at price, looking at my available budget, looking at what I need, I can tell you that the EWD is perfection. And it's literally really perfection. And it's actually perfection in a way that I didn't even think about earlier on. You see, what the Sennheiser EWD has, of course it's digital. It has, and I forget the real name, so I'm eyeing it very quickly if I can find it. That had a very specific name. Oh yeah, the equidistant spacing. Ooh. Phew. That's the thing. So what that basically means is that you have a band, and in that frequency band you will have lines that are 100% the same across all the channels. And what the system will do is it will find you a spot of 600 kilohertz, and it will stick in that one, and you will not have interference with each other. And that is really handy, because otherwise you would have to either purchase or use a specific application to find which band is perfect for you. Of course, if you only have one, that's not needed. But like I said, I need more than one. I need at least 3. No more than 4, but at least 3. I don't have 3, by the way, at the moment. But spreading the budget. That was the first thing that I really liked. I was like, okay, that equidistant spacing is really handy. What was also really handy was what they call the high dynamic range. It has a high dynamic range of what was it again? Of course, I cannot find it now. Can I find it? Can I find it quickly? Here, 134 dB audio input range dynamic. That, my friends, is impressive. That is really impressive, because that means that you can whisper and you can shout, and you can actually even put a microphone in front of a jumbo jet and it will not distort. That is what it means. It's like amazingly great. That also means, and this is, but that by itself is really great. But what is also great about that is that the application becomes very simple, because this, for example, is the body pack that comes with it. And maybe you note that there's no screen at all. There is no screen at all. There's no way to set the sensitivity, for example, because it's not needed. It's that good. And for me, I want to work together with, I want to work on video productions. I want to set and forget the audio. Yes, of course, the volume, I want to change a little bit, of course. But I want to set and forget it. I just want to make sure, I want to know that it just works. And that's the reason why I like this one so much, and even better than the DX, because the DX already also has these screens, and it's simply not needed. So again, no screen, not at all. So this is the body pack. So one of the use cases is, of course, panels. And in a panel, you don't want to have somebody with a microphone all of the time, because not everybody knows how to use it. That kind of stuff, because people tend to do this, which doesn't work. So you want to have maybe a lavalier. So that was one of the other things, is that I chose to be as flexible as possible. So I actually have per channel both of them. So I have a handset, and I have a backpack, and this combo kit comes with a lavalier mic. Does not come with a headset, so that's something that I cannot do at the moment, and maybe I will never do. But at least I know that with this set that I have here with one channel, I can pretty much do a lot, and that's very, very good. And actually, I have already 2 of them, which means that of those 10 that I discussed earlier on, at least 6 or 7 gigs I can do now without any problems. And those last 3, they will take a little bit longer. So that also means that I can also be a little bit more conscious of the budget, wait a little bit longer, and buy it a few weeks before I really need it, so that at least I can at least continue already and be ready when it's needed. Again, I really like that there's also no screen on this part as well. I also like, by the way, that there's a mute button on this microphone, right? You can switch it off and you can switch it on, like so. But you know that people that are on the stage can be a little bit like stressed out. It's a bit, with an application that you can run on the iPhone, I can, from a distance, just say, no, don't look at the mute button. Just, I will take care of the mute. And that will mean that it is way easier to use it than not. Hey, Dad. Scooter's here. Maybe a quick video. Let me show you very quickly what it looks like for me. NDI camera. Let me show you very quickly what I see. Are you still there? Yeah. Add input. Let me get the NDI source. This one. No audio. Like so. That's my dad right there. And with Scooter in his hand, and he really likes being there and checking things out. So there he is. There he is. There you go. Quick intermezzo. Where was I? So yes. So looking again back to the system, you can have multiple things, and I chose for exactly this setup with a handheld and a backpack, so that I'm 100% flexible. Now, be aware you cannot use both of them at the same time, so you have to switch one off to turn the other one on and to connect. But that's totally fine. That's totally understandable for me, and also perfectly fine. But at least I am 100% flexible, and with 2, I am very flexible, and with 3 later this year, I will be golden already. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I actually already named the system. So the first one is called host. The second is called guest or guest presenter, and the third one will become either a second guest presenter, or it will become audience. You only have 5 or 6 digits to do that, but all right. So that was in a very short 42 minutes, the 2-year process of going from I don't know what I want to getting exactly what I need, exactly for a price point that is even lower, believe it or not, than Shure. And it is actually also running on the UHF range, so there's not a lot of congestion there, and until now it's working like a charm. It's actually already built in my audio rack, and I will go over that audio rack in a later video. But for the sake of it, I will show it very quickly. So that's this right there. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is the audio rack right there that I have built until now. And it works like a charm, I can tell you. Extremely good. Let me see if there's anything what you guys wanted to talk about. MT has a question. Do you use the Sennheiser battery pack or simple AA batteries? At the moment, simple AA batteries. However, I am definitely going for the battery pack because instead of 8 hours, you have 12 hours of battery life. And on average, I would state it's also better for the environment. So from that perspective, I will do that. Although, of course, I cannot do everything at the same time. So budget-wise, it will take some time before everything is organized. Again, it's not it's trying to up the game in months compared to doing one go everything, because that's simply not possible. And indeed, you did see my dad and Scooter, so that was cool. FT says our experience with those battery packs are that they're not reliable. Oh, that's not a good thing. Then I might be tempted not to go that route. Graham says at work the mics are used by volunteers. What are the chances of them never trying to use the handset and lav mic at the same on the same channel? Basically, I think that there's no way to really prevent that from happening apart from asking them upfront what they need and then just give them what they need and then let the other thing be something for another time. There's no way of preventing that apart from maybe syncing it to another channel, but yeah, you can also not sync it, right? That's also a possibility. But you do need, yeah. Once it's synced, I think that it will remain on the one that is available. I'm not sure. I didn't try that yet. It's a good one. Leandro says, "Oh my God, I love the color of Scooter." Yeah, we love him too. He's what they call a blue Russian, and so it's a bit of a gray bluish coat. That's where his name comes from. And he's is that my jacket or your jacket? Yeah, your jacket. Okay. Hey Stanley, what's up? Sorry, I'm real late. What is the model of that mic set? It is the Sennheiser EWD. So that's Evolution Wireless Digital. It was released, believe it or not, in June or July of last year. So it's actually a very, very modern set. It's still very relevant. So I'm also not worried that it's out of a sudden within a year it's not relevant anymore. So I have some time also to build up the set, which also is very helpful. And it was quite easy to get the first two. So and the third, I don't know when I'm gonna buy that one, but I'm pretty sure that will be done before the summer. But I do think that will be the last one. Not sure yet, but it's really between 3 and 4, and every time it's quite a lot of. It's quite an expensive kit because it's a combo kit, right? So only the base kit with the handheld mic is actually quite affordable. It's about 700 euros, roughly in that area. So it's quite affordable. But together with the body pack with the lavalier, it becomes almost 1,000. And that's quite an expensive set, right? Again, cheaper than the SLXD, but still expensive. But of course, you do have more options, and options are very important. So it's give or take. I do know that if by any chance I'm going with the fourth one, it's going to be handheld only, because that one will be reserved for audience only. That I know for sure from that perspective. But the first three, I most likely all combos. MT says to Graham, we have some handhelds and belt packs on the same channel, but like Petra said, only use one or the other. They are fixed indeed. Yep, that's just the way it goes, and it is really one channel per half rack, as you just could see very very fast. Now, I am purposely not really reviewing the unit yet. Of course, I do want to have a real gig experience with it first. So I am expecting that it will be coming rather sooner than later. However, I will be having what I call a short, not a YouTube short, but a short quick look on the Sennheiser EWD itself and everything around it, so you will get a better video on it. But I wanted to use this video really about the story, about what are the pain points. I didn't know about the GSM band. I didn't think about that when I started. I also didn't think about that you have like a lower end that you really need to cross to make it certain that you have good quality products. It makes perfect sense, of course, but I didn't really realize that until now. And I want to really use this moment for you to at least know what I've done, so that once you are ready to take the plunge, that you know where to look for and to figure out what to do. One thing that I think that under the hood, but I didn't really make it explicit, is I would always go with something that is widely available at the moment. So the Sennheiser is really easy to get at the moment. So it's not a very difficult type where the all of the Shure things, everything Shure, apart from the cheapest BLX system, everything is really difficult to get at the moment. Hence, I'm not gonna do it. Niels says, how is the antenna situation? That's a good question. Very good question. And at the moment, with two systems in the rack, I can tell you that it's very good. So the antennas are in the rack itself, but my rack is not made of metal. So it's a very much plastic rack with only the parts where you have to put in the screws. That is metal, but it's a lot of plastic, so that makes it easier for me to do that. And I'm also having a shallow rack, so my racks are very shallow. So if this is, let's say, the rack, the antenna are right there, almost at the very end of the rack. So that means that it's quite well. Now, that being said, so I have experience with two at the moment. That works like a charm. But I am not going to build a number 3 before I know that it's actually working. Because if not, then I have then I can do two things. I can accept that and say, okay, I'm going to remove number 3 and then use that as we just set it on top of the rack and say, okay, that's it. We're calling it a day. Or alternatively, I am buying what they call a antenna splitter. And the antenna splitter is actually precisely what it says. You have one antenna, and it deviates, it splits the signal to all 3 or 4 units. Maximum is 4 units per antenna splitter from this range. However, you can have, again, up to 90 of these EWDs on the same bandwidth with 90. Never gonna happen. But I'm really pleased with the first 2. At least that's a good thing, and I just wanted to figure out what happens with the third before I move on. So maybe in a couple of weeks or months I know more about that. So that is the antenna part. MT says, you built yourself a really solid system and it will pay off. I think so too. Payoff is a bit of a thing. It's not like I'm not asking a lot of money. I try to make it affordable for a lot of people. So that's by design. My design, to be honest. I think it's very important for that. That being said, I agree with what you just said. Stanley waited for 3 months for the Shure. Wow, that's impressive. Our experience with Sennheiser, says MT. Let me get this mouse here. Yeah. It's good customer service, great spare parts, even for all the models. Antenna situation, I admit. Pedal antenna for more distance. Yeah. So okay, you have the bigger antenna. Yeah. Maybe in the future, not now. If I need it, I need it. But I don't know that for a fact at the moment. Stanley says digital is the way to go, and I totally 100% of course agree with that statement. All right, that's all that I had in store for you today. It's a little bit of a different situation. Did you like this kind of content? Do you like this style of, just giving you a bit of my brain and just take you along with the journey that I had? If you like that, please let me know so that I know that for future videos. Know that there will be a short video on the EWD. My gut feeling says it will be in March and the end of March. Why do I say that? Because I know that in the end of March I have a big gig with 8 cameras coming, so that will definitely, I will not be able to be live on that date, but I want to have something there for you guys to see and to watch. So that will definitely be one of the ones that I want to use. But I still have also a backlog of other ideas that I want to have a short video of, and I will definitely be using those to hopefully counteract what happened last week. Know that at the moment I don't have a backlog, so I do need to build to make them. But I think that I will start next week, and hopefully I will have a backlog so that never has to happen, at least this year. And indeed, thank you so much for that, Leandro. Please give a like to this video. Subscribe also if you haven't yet. It helps the channel. Also, the super chat helps the channel as well. So please feel free to do that. Eric says, going through your thought process, weighing pros and cons. Evolution works for me. Leandro, thanks for experiencing thanks for sharing your experience. Thank you so much. Smash the like button, indeed. Thank you so much. Almost an hour. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Yeah. And I thought that this was not so much content, but of course there's a lot to talk about. 2 years is quite a challenge. Next week Q&A, we're definitely going to talk a little bit about the gigs that I have done the last week. I'll also, of course, if you have any questions and that you want to have answered on vMix, on audio, please go ahead and also ask them back next week. And I still have a very nice full taekwondo idea list. So there's still a lot to come this coming months. So I am not doubting any content issues for the foreseeable future. So feel free to indeed like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And basically, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic weekend, guys.